So who are the gentlemen behind you?
Oh, so in Austin, there's two comedy clubs. There's the Velveeta Room, which is like the indie room, and then there's Cap City, which is like the big club. This guy is John. He's the bouncer at Cap City. He is absolutely insane. He records every single conversation he has with anyone. He's a guy who's really into like spy stuff. He has like an app on his phone that as soon as you press the button, it starts recording a conversation covertly and like uploading it to a cloud. Like he's absolutely he's in a strip club called Sugars. Like he's just crazy. He's awesome. And this is Michael Park. This is the door guy at the Velveeta Room. He's like a transient. He's just like a weird actor who shot a man in the heart 20 years ago, who broke into his like they're two like very insane men. And one night we were at the Velveeta Room down on 6th Street, and where Michael works, this guy, and John and some of the Cap City folk like came down, and where everybody's like, oh shit, it's like the Jets and the Sharks. And it was just like a meeting of like the two doormen, and it was just like a monumental moment in Austin comedy. And I don't know, they're just like some of my favorite weirdos.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another Bourbon Show. We are super excited to this week have one of my favorite people on the planet, the guy that I probably performed more comedy shows with than anybody on the planet.
And it's me.
There it is, Steven Shantofalski. No, welcome, big-time comedian, Aaron Brooks. Big applause.
Big time.
Big time. So
ask me what I've done. Ask me what TV shows I've been on.
Well,
nothing.
No.
And absolutely nobody.
No, you're not you are a somebody to everybody who has ever heard you. It's just that not a lot of people have heard you. That's the problem.
Oh, I'm keenly aware. I'm a decade into a comedy career that has served me nothing. Like it's ripped away like important relationships. It's deteriorated my life, 36 high every day in Los Angeles. So I mean that's pretty cool, but I'm also 36 high every day in Los Angeles. So
yeah,
no, but going on.
But you've got a new a comedy album out.
Yeah.
How is that going for you?
Good. It's called Secrets. It's out on Sure Thing Records, label based out of Austin, Texas. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. I'm a storyteller.
I thought it was phenomenal.
Thanks, man. I'm different than a lot of comedians in that like I'm very like long-winded and drawn out. Is probably just like not probably the antithesis of what you would want. But I think that lends itself well in that format of like an album where you're gonna take a trip or like sit down at your desk and you can kind of like really dedicate some time to it. I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out as good as it could have. Once again, I'm rambling here, but very happy with it.
So now you're in LA now. You mentioned that. So listeners, Aaron is originally from the St. Louis area, just like where Steve and Ryan and I met. But
Steven took me to your hometown once, actually.
Oh, that's right.
Dupo? Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I texted you while we were in Dupo, and I remember very vividly that we were at a gas station in Dupo, Illinois.
Oh, you mean the gas station in Dupo, Illinois?
right.
Because the other one burned down in a quota, and the insurance. I shouldn't say anything, but yeah, sorry, go on.
But I text you, and I said, Aaron, we're in Dupo. What should me and my friend do? And you text me back with very quickly, leave.
Just leave. It's sad, man. I got to come back for a flyover comedy festival last November, and I drove through town, and it was shitty when I lived there. But like I said, gas station burned down, George's Tavern burned down. All this shit is just like. It's deteriorating,
Sounds like all the same owner.
Yeah, really. Whoever it is doesn't give a shit about Dupo or the economy of Dupo. Like the corner store where people would go get groceries is not a corner store anymore. It's like a fucking tax office or some shit. All of like the charm that had existed in that town has pretty much gone away, with one exception. There's a little restaurant there called Dairyland. and it's owned by the wife of the chief of police. I'm assuming they're still married. I don't know. But the chief of police owned his wife, Dawn, very sweet woman, owned this restaurant. And it was just like a place where you could go get a fucking, they had 3 mini cheeseburgers or like mozzarella sticks or fried tacos or, but they also had like all these ice creams, like, blizzards and shit. And it's just like, it's something out of a John Cougar Mellencamp song. Like
Yeah.
the tasty freeze, that's Dairyland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a very iconic. It's the only, because it's the only thing in Dupo. And when like growing up there, I was in a ska band for years, and that's where we like played our first show. We picked up the pool table and we moved it out of the way. We cleared all the tables and chairs out. We played in the back room at Dairyland. That's where people went after football games. So like, I don't know, I get really nostalgic for like that time in my life, and that's like the only good thing about that town. But now the economy is so bad that they're only open like 2 days a week, and it's like, man, the only good thing about Dupo is Dairyland, and they're limping along. So yeah, get the fuck out of there while you can. And if anybody from Dupo's listening to this and you've never left, just leave.
Well,
just get out of the St.
Aaron,
Louis
I
area.
doubt anybody from Dupo is listening, because this is like internet only, and like, do they have internet in Dupo? Like,
I didn't when I was in high school.
AOL dial-up.
We didn't have internet at our house. You know, but I'm also in my mid-30s. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
my dad got.
Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, please. You.
My dad got a computer after I moved out. Right after like I went away to college, got kicked out, and then moved back in with my mom. My dad got a computer, and I went over there to see him while we were still trying to like have a relationship with each other. And he's like, "Yeah, we had to get rid of the computer. A lot of nasty stuff kept popping up on there." It's like, you son of a bitch. Like, you know what I mean? You're looking at pornography, Dad. Like, you're the same guy that, like, when I would wake up in the morning, I would turn on the TV and hit the last button, and it would always go to like Cinemax. It would just go to that channel every night, or Showtime, because you're in there cranking it to
the Spice Channel.
Yeah, the Beverly Hills Bordello or whatever is on. You're just jacking it to like premium cable softcore pornography. Like, don't talk to me about that. I dance a dance. I know how it goes. I got a mother that I lie to.
Well, I'm glad you asked. So, like, not asked, but said, because the question I was going to ask is your mom still in Dupo, or
no?
Or no?
My mom didn't live in Dupo after my parents split up. My mom lived in Columbia, and then my dad lived in Dupo, which that's like the rivalry. Right, like Columbia hates Dupo because Dupo people are trash, and Dupo people hate Columbia because they hate people who are trashy. You know what I mean? They're just, it's just shitty. Yeah. And that's like the big, like, every now and then, like, kids would just meet up in a park and just fucking fight. That was the big rivalry. Yeah. So she never lived there, but my dad did. Okay. So she lives in Waterloo now, which is like the next town over. Yeah. She's a nurse. She's gonna retire pretty soon, and I'm real happy about that. She's been a night nurse for like over 20 years, like 25 years. She's worked nights on an Alzheimer's wing. Alzheimer's dementia wing, and she's like ready to retire, and I'm so fucking happy for it.
I love your mom. I met her 3, maybe 4 times. Just such a phenomenal woman. She is hilarious.
She's where I get it from, and she, like, man, I wouldn't be. I'm not anything now, but I at least feel like I'm like a decent person, like a good human being, and I care about other people, and that's all like from my mom. So yeah, she rules.
So, Stephen, why don't listeners, we've got kind of a different episode for you. I'm acting as if we have listeners, but this is going to be
Brandmeier, what's up? He's tuning in. PB.
Oh, such a good dude, though. Such a
great guy.
So yeah, this is going to be a little bit different of an episode. Stephen, I want you to go over like how this one's going to be different, because you're kind of the brainchild of this episode. So let him have it.
So the idea behind this one is Aaron is going to act as sort of a judge on our behalf. In Aaron's own words, the judge the people deserve.
Yeah,
is the role that Aaron's playing tonight.
Absolutely.
And maybe one of your more serious roles you've ever taken on. This is we've talked a lot about your comedy background, but this is an extremely serious podcast we have here. This is the battle of the bottom shelf tonight. So Dan, myself, and Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and list Ryan last because, yeah, he deserves to be. And we all have picked out our own, privately, we've picked out a bottle of bourbon that we purchased on our own. The only rule for that is that it had to be a bottom shelf bourbon in quotations. And what we mean by that is it has to be $15 or less for a 750 milliliter.
20. We decided on 20.
Oh, 20. Well, I think we all handily still were under the
We did.
$15 mark.
We did.
And Dan, I know you got some like airplane bottles. Ryan got a bottle. I got a bottle. We're all going to be drinking separate bottles, and we're going to be breaking them down for Aaron, and we're going to try to be making the claim that we have the worst of the bunch, which we are calling the battle of the bottom shelf. And we're going to be breaking it down into 3 categories. We're going to have the smell, and then we have the taste, and then we have the finish. And it looks like Dan has a contender right now from his smell. But Aaron will be awarding us points and subtracting points as necessary for any foul play. And we're just going to have a lot of fun with those 3 categories. And then whoever wins at the end will be crowned the winner of the Battle of the Bottom Shelf.
The winner is the worst, by the way.
Yeah, the winner
just to reiterate that
is whoever picked out the worst whiskey.
So let's get ready to rumble. Let's do this.
Here we go. I'd like to see the whiskey because I feel like we need to identify them. I feel like we can't just say Dan's whiskey.
Oh, like
do you have any? I want to see.
Or do you want to? Oh, I thought you meant like the bottle. Like
you mean like this?
Turn our head.
Yeah. Okay. So
mine looks like piss.
Yours looks like piss. Ryan's also looks like Steven. They all 3 look like piss.
Yeah.
Steven's the most concerning. It looks like the darkest.
I don't think the standard def webcam is helping me out here at all.
Look, okay. Well, maybe see
you should
somebody.
Put a little more in yours, maybe, so you can get.
Okay.
Yeah, you're barely coating the bottom there.
Yeah.
I'll get a.
I mean, you're drinking the whiskey, dude. You're gonna do one little drop. All right.
Can we get another shot once we have more in there? Because I want to make sure it's okay. Yeah, Stevens is actually looks like iced tea, so I think that one is dark. Okay, I have a good idea of I have a good idea of like what to expect when I drink those. Thank you for that for the visual.
Dan, you want to go first and describe your smell? You were very reactive, or they're very performative with your smell.
All right, so like I get a lot of ethanol, a lot of like alcohol smell, shocker there, but it's also like it's like acidic, right? Like if you were to like take a beaker full of hydrochloric acid and like sniff it, that's what I kind of get from it. Kind of a mixture of hydrochloric acid, ethanol, and feet.
When you say feet, like, oh man, I just like worked like a full shift in the ER, or like, man, I drove this truck cross country and I haven't showered in 8 days.
I'm thinking more along the lines of like Birkenstocks from somebody who went to Burning Man.
Oh, like a crunchy person's foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably hairy.
Likely.
Neglected.
Yeah.
Long nails.
Long nails, some calluses.
Some sort of a hemp anklet. That's probably absorbs some kind of a smell.
But I'm not picking up any patchouli, right? Like so don't like mix in the patchouli with it.
No.
Just
they were Burning Man, Yeah.
There's
no time for patchouli at Burning Man. They're too busy fucking living their lives, Dan.
That's a good point. Okay. All
I
right.
don't know much about. my goal here is just to be as combative as possible. How far down can we drive these scores? So it smells like an old hippie's foot.
Mixed with some hydrochloric
ethanol
and some hydrochloric acid. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like an acidic smell to it. Yeah. It smells horrible. It gave me a dull headache in the back of my head from sniffing it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why do you do this to yourself? Okay, you know
Well,
what?
It's
I'll be
for the
really honest.
fans. It's for the fans.
Patrick Brandmeier, what's up?
I'll be real honest. Mine does not smell as bad as Dan's, I don't think.
Let's get Steven's profile. So what are you smelling, Steven?
I've never been to the Dairyland at Dupo,
Yeah. You're fucking missing out.
but this to me smells like what I imagine the Dairyland would smell like after your ska band would perform.
Ooh.
Okay. So this is, now it's not all that bad, I'd say. There's just a little something up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can smell, there's probably some tasty treats here, but this ain't it. You know? It
Yeah.
smells like,
Smells like being by a dumpster.
that's exactly what it smells like. It smells like you were by a dumpster. Like food that was once good is now here decomposing. This is where its final stand will be.
You're standing in the alley trying to finger bang, you know. You got your back pressed up against the vinyl siding. A little southern breeze blows through and you catch a whiff of like, you know, old French fries or onion rings or on the air and you think, God damn. If only.
It's not horrible, but it's not great.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then you go back to trying to finger bang. And ultimately you don't.
You're like, do we need a trombone player really in this band? Do we really need a trombone player in this band? And then that's what this smells like. And then
Man.
there's a little bit of you know how, well, everybody knows this. I don't know why I'm saying do you know how, but if you take all of the Play-Doh out of the Play-Doh container and you just smell that Play-Doh container,
Yeah.
I get a little bit of this.
Man, my mom used to make homemade Play-Doh. We used to make it out of like flour and salt and stuff. And
my mom brings over homemade Play-Doh on the regular for my son.
I can't tell you how much Play-Doh I've eaten in my life, but it's gotta be 6 or 7 pounds probably over the course of my life. I mean, I should say until I was at 9, because I haven't had any like recently. But
you know, you're still carrying that too, Aaron. That Play-Doh weight just stays.
Yeah, dude, I'm not fat. I'm just full of Play-Doh.
Yeah, exactly. The Play-Doh just hangs around.
Every time I shit, it just comes out in one smooth log, you know? I got to change the attachment up against my asshole if I want to make a cool shape. Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, I don't think mine's Burning Man, but it's definitely like, I feel like something you'd pour on like a burn or a gash in your leg.
A wound?
In the 1800s, you know? Like, this is the thing. Like, I might drink it or I might pour it on my knee because I just fucked myself up. It's like leathery. It's like medicinal ethanol. It's just gross. It's I was appalled as soon as I smelled it. I had my brother try some. He said it was like hydrogen peroxide and rubbing alcohol combined into one.
Oh. Hydrogen. Have you guys ever had like hydrogen peroxide just like straight in your mouth?
I'd have. I think my mom made me do it for like a canker sore or some shit.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yep.
It's like weird and salty, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, God, why is this way?
Why?
So the idea of that with rubbing alcohol just sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it's bad.
There's no notes of anything else.
I get a little, there's a little citrusy. Sometimes I get, a little sweetness to it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's not good.
You're not going to gargle peroxide and alcohol with a little spritz of lemon or lime in there.
Yeah,
You're not a
exactly.
fucking idiot. You're not going to do it with a kiss of citrus. Just a couple drops. You're not a fucking moron. You're going to taste this hydrogen peroxide and alcohol with just a whisper of a little bit of lemon lime. Is that too much to ask?
That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Okay. I think I made my decision on the smell round of who's got the worst one and who has the second worst and who has the best. So do we...
What's the points count at this point?
I'm going to keep that internal.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to keep that internal. I don't want to influence anyone's behavior. All right. On to the taste round. That's what I say every time I jack off.
All right, Dan.
I don't know why you guys asked me to do this.
This is exactly the reason we asked you to do this.
I don't drink and I'm a creep. Okay, taste round. Let's start with Dan. So you get the notes of the hippie's foot. Get that hydrochloric acid.
Not looking forward to this.
Now, when you do this, is this like is this a sip? Is it a gulp? Dan is grimacing. Dan is
always with the theatrics. This one.
Okay, so all right, so in the past I've talked whiskey history about how the Bottled and Bond Act, right? So the Bottled and Bond Act was made because there were some really bad practices going on. Instead of aging whiskey, they would add like tobacco spit to give it the fucking coloring, and they would add different types of acid to try to give a flavor. I feel like tobacco spit would improve the flavor of this at this point. I'm getting a gag reflex. It's that fucking bad.
sounds like my ex-wife.
Oh God. Like it tastes like take an orange and put it in the oven at 350 for 45 minutes.
You can disintegrate it.
And then take the remnants and mix it with rubbing alcohol and then drink that. I can taste that at some point there was some sort of a fruit flavor, but it's been destroyed. It's been crippled. Almost it seems like they did it on purpose.
So a burned orange mixed with acid.
And rubbing alcohol.
And in dire need. And when I say in dire need, I mean something that could greatly enhance the taste profile of the liquid you're drinking. Just a fucking mouthful of tobacco spit. You can just taste. You can just it's almost like it's aching for it, you know.
It's. I feel like that would improve the flavor of it.
Well, you are a smoker, or you were. Are you still?
I'm still a smoker. I'm still a smoker.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking for the tobacco flavor, but the
spit flavor. You know?
Yeah, that would be better.
Okay.
It would give a positive. Yeah.
I stand. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I see exactly where you're coming from. This sounds fucking awful. Why? You guys know that good drinks exist, right? Or tasty drinks exist.
Yeah.
I've never understood why people seriously drink this stuff when they're like, oh, this tastes like moss or gravel or tar. That fucking sucks. You wouldn't put that in your mouth on its own.
You know, the reason why we wanted to do this is because there are lots of bourbon shows that do competitions, but it's always to try to find the best.
Yeah.
And they're saying the same stuff, but it's just twisted as in this was what makes it the best.
Yeah.
None of it sounds any good. I've never heard somebody explain bourbon and thought, man, that sounds fucking good. I want to taste that. There's always a weird thing. Oh, yeah, there's notes of caramel and a little smokiness. I think it tastes a little vanilla, perhaps. Oh, I think it's just a 4-month-old shoe. A shoe that's been discarded from the bed of a pickup truck that's gone several states away, and it's not coming back, baby. And that shoe is just sat on the side of the road in the middle of a driving rain, alone, missing its partner, looking out under the streetlights, just calling out her name. Veronica. A little bit of that shoe in there, I think. I think that's what it is. And maybe also, Pete. Not Pete Moss, my neighbor Pete. It's very sweaty. Tastes a lot like Pete. I don't know why I'm on this show. I really don't. I really don't know. Okay. What a stupid. Okay. Please edit that out. Steven.
That's another drop I'm going to use now. I don't know why I'm on this show.
You weren't talking about the tale of the lonesome shoe? You were talking about the tale of the sad shoe?
It's kind of a long drop, but I did like it.
Oh yeah, that's true. I saw you sipping on yours or smelling yours while Dan was talking about his abomination. Have you tasted yours yet?
I have, and I'm trying to still smell it. I'm trying to get the overall presence because this is something that I cannot place. This
Uh-oh.
is this is
A
something that's very
foreign
difficult
taste.
for me to describe. But I will say that it pretty much still tastes like what it would taste like if you could bottle the essence of that empty Play-Doh
Yeah,
canister.
yeah,
So it tastes a lot like that.
like a
But
single mother's hope.
yeah, it tastes like a single mother's hope. It tastes a little bit like, keeping with the ska theme, I think the trombone player's like spit valve will probably get
Ooh.
emptied into this bottle right here, because it has like an oily quality to it that
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
very uncomfortable with. Like I've heard people say oily whiskey before, and this is like a very, to me, I get it after this because this tastes very. This is like just the oil part of the whiskey.
My grandmother used to say oily whiskey all the time.
Yeah,
Oily whiskey.
as like
It
a
was just
phrase.
Yeah, just like a term of disappointment.
Oh, okay. Well,
Grandma, I
gotta
didn't like
say,
dinner that much.
oily whiskey.
Oily whiskey. Oily whiskey? When you say oil, are you talking about like the oil they would use to to lubricate the valves or like the slide of a trombone, or is it more like a 10W30?
No, this is like the slide. And I used to be a trombone player, so let me tell you,
Oh, okay.
this
I
is
played the
like
trumpet.
this is slide oil for sure.
Okay. Slide oil, valve oil. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's not, I mean, but also like, that's not that offensive of an oil.
Did you
It's
ever
clear.
You ever taste it?
Dude, I played in a ska band for years. Yeah, I've tasted. I've eaten pounds of Play-Doh. Yeah, I've tasted valve oil. Yeah, I know exactly what it tastes like. It's not. Don't get me wrong. It's not good, and it's certainly not something I would wistfully reminisce upon as I sip my bourbon. But there are worse oils out there.
Yeah, I guess it's just very telling that you described it as an inoffensive oil, where I think like 99% of people would say it's pretty offensive still.
I mean, it's not. Once again, contextually, of course, you're absolutely right. But I think in this case,
I think
be
my
worse.
lips are chapping as I drink this. I don't know how. I don't know what the chemistry is happening on my lips right now.
it's 100% hand sanitizer, isn't it?
I don't know, man. It tastes worse than it smells, even though it carries a lot of the same stuff that I said about the smell over to the taste itself. There's just something that hangs around and the finish is going to be something to talk about as well, because it stays with you, probably because of the oil. My throat is coated at this point.
Oh, can you make that into a drop and send that to me?
Yeah.
My throat is coated at this point. Can you just send me that like privately, like off the grid?
Yeah, no
Can
problem.
you open up a new email account, and then I'll open up a new email account. I'll send you a bird that has my email address in it, and then you just fire that off and then immediately throw your computer out the window. Can you do that for me? Because I would like to have that on a drop.
I feel like you're going to tell your roommates, like next week, you're going to have you're going to be like, well, I had to get rid of the computer. It's just nasty stuff popping up.
Yeah, I'm turning into my old man. bunch of dirty stuff. Dirty stuff is popping up on there. Ryan, let's talk about your taste. Then let's talk about how your drink tastes.
A little salty. I would
Okay.
say that hydrogen peroxide is still there, and it's mixed with a little bit of dishwater from my shitty college apartment
Oh,
at
no.
Cougar Village at SIUE. No garbage disposal. Disgusting. And a little hint of licorice, which was a nice little touch at the end.
Black or red?
Black.
Man, I hate
And
black licorice so much.
Yeah. For some reason, Judge, you ever have Malort when you were in Chicago?
I never had it. I've smelled it. The woodworm. I know the legend of it, and there's no way if you put $100 bill in front of me, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't take a drink of it.
Our company sells it. Great product.
Yeah.
They know it's bad.
Yeah.
They know it's bad. This kind of reminds me of that, but without like the total motor oil finish at the end. But it's still really bad.
Malort. Can you explain Malort to the folks listening? Because I don't think a lot of people know about it outside of Chicago.
Yeah, it's a regional thing, and then if you're at like a hipster bar in whatever big city, they'll usually have it. But they keep a lot of their ingredients hidden of what's in it. It's really close knit, but there is wormwood. It's like a kind of the color of this actually, pretty similar color. It's technically a liqueur, wormwood based, and you drink it, and it doesn't taste that bad at first. It's not appalling in any way. As soon as it goes down and coats your stomach, it is probably the worst 10, 15 seconds you'll ever have of your life.
I don't know
And, like,
anybody
you know-
who's I don't know anybody who's ever had it and has been like, yeah, that was a positive. Remember the night we got all fucked up on Malort? What a great night. It's always
yeah. It's a great thing to buy, like, hey, got a shot of whiskey for everybody. You know, it's, my friend's birthday and I have whiskey in front of me, but everyone else has Malort.
oh man, you're such a
Yeah.
fucking asshole. Man.
Hey, have you ever met Ryan before?
No.
No,
I don't think we've ever met. But
that's the perfect introduction of it.
Frankly, I don't know if I want to at this point, because that is a rude dude who does that to his friends. It's friends.
And fuck them.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the finish. It seems like we're close to the finish. We're about to finish.
That means I've got to drink more.
Yeah, I would.
Like I've noticed,
assume so.
I have actually taken notice of the fact that they have been sipping occasionally, like when
Yeah.
it's not their turn. I'm fucking not.
Yeah.
Like, I am not interested in drinking this except for when I have to for the purposes of this.
Please have some. Swallow all around the mouth. We really need to feel that finish.
I'll isolate that too for here.
Okay, so there's one saving grace to this, and that is that the flavor does not stick around long. It burns every part of your mouth as it touches it, but the burn does not last long. Once you swallow it, there is very little taste remaining in your mouth.
Can you isolate that as a drop as well? Once you swallow it, there's very little remaining taste in your mouth. Just for like my own personal.
You might enjoy this part too,
collection.
Aaron, and that's that about 5 seconds after it's in your stomach, my stomach like contracts, like it wants to get rid of it,
Yeah.
but then it's gone. Like 2 seconds later. It's like your stomach contracts, like, oh, get this away from me. And then after 2 seconds, it's like, nah, it's okay.
What's the proof on this, by the way?
That's a great question. The proof is 90 proof.
Okay.
Okay.
What about you guys?
Mine is 80 proof.
Mine's 80 as well.
Oh, Dan, big boy. So it's a quick finish. It's an aggressive quick finish.
It is. Yeah, it's like every story I heard about all three of my sisters in high school.
It's a prom night bourbon.
It's a prom night bourbon. Yep.
All right. Steven, hopefully you have a better experience, or worse. I don't know what you're gunning for in this show.
It's like the whiskey was finished with its actual taste a while ago, but it's going to hang around in the corner for a while and just watch you sleep,
Oh, Jesus.
kind of thing. It's just going to chill there a little bit.
Does the
And-
whiskey know that you don't want it around anymore, and it's
Oh,
just
it
kind of
knows. I told it.
defying your? Oh, okay.
No, I told it. It knows. It doesn't care. It thinks it's entitled to stick around in my mouth now.
Oh God.
And it's not going anywhere. And basically, this finish is terrible, and I don't know when it's not going to be there anymore. I'm worried I'm going to have to ask a dentist if you can remove teeth and rebuild them.
Is it just soaked in at this point?
Yeah, I
It's
just
just
feel like
in
it's
there.
part of my teeth. The oil from it is just on my teeth. I need to pull them out of my mouth and get new teeth. If that's something you can do, if there's a stem cell thing I could possibly do.
I'll talk
I
to the
don't know.
president.
The finish reminds me of being hopeful about stem cell research, and it's just more of that oil and that slide oil. It's more of that spit.
Ugh.
It's but you know what it also tastes like? It tastes a little bit like freedom, to be honest with you. It reminds me that anything is possible in this country. You can, if you want to make whiskey, you can. If you want to make whiskey out of your basement, you can do it.
Yeah.
And you can bottle it and you can sell it. And so in that way, I'm a little proud to be drinking this, to be honest with you.
It's an American fucking whiskey, man.
It is.
You
It's
know what
like
I
this
mean?
has no bit. They have distribution. This is on shelf. You
Yeah.
can purchase this if you want with your
This
money.
should not be made.
This has a SKU number attached to it in buildings.
Man, somebody had to go onto a website and order like a GS1 barcode and sell it online. You know what I mean? There's
Exactly.
commerce taking place. There's people driving trucks full of this shit, and it's awful.
Yeah,
This is the most American thing.
people are away from home right now because they're transporting it by vehicle to another location for consumption.
Some guy is like a fucking liquor rep, and he's gonna miss his daughter's dance recital to get this fucking awful whiskey into a fucking drive-through liquor store in the middle of Southern Illinois.
Exactly.
And it's going to put a strain on his relationship with his wife, you know, and his kids are always going to say, you never came to my dance. Daddy had liquor to deliver. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a whole fucked up cycle that perpetuates itself. This is America. This is a microcosm. You know, we're staring at it. I'm sorry it's such a long, greasy finish.
Yeah.
I wish it were better for you.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
You have got to add like an eagle call during that little speech.
Just a riff. A riff and fucking, I don't know, music C, whatever sounds joyful. Ryan, how's the finish for you?
It's kind of medium, right in the middle, not as long as Steven's. Definitely a little longer than Dan's.
Well, you know, we're all a little longer
yeah.
than Dan's.
It's not motor oil like Malort is, but it's probably like E85 corn ethanol.
Okay.
It's all burns a little bit.
Maybe some of you put in a two-stroke.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Little nutty. There's no hints of any being in an oak barrel. So if they said that in the bottle, I don't even know if this is bourbon. No hints of it. It lingers there. It's not as bad as Malort, but my breath stinks. I had Taco Bell for lunch. I didn't shit before this podcast. This is going to be in my stomach with the Taco Bell. So,
oh, good Lord.
Yeah, should be fun.
But the finish, so is the finish as greasy as Stevens?
It's not as greasy, but my breath smells terrible. It's awful right now.
So the big thing, your big complaint isn't so much the taste or the coating of your mouth and throat, but it's it's your breath.
The breath is terrible.
So if you were out at a bar and you took a shot of this and I was a pretty lady, I don't know what your marital status is. I really don't care. You know, people being faithful is like hard to, you know, it's hard to come by. So, you know, we'll just pretend whatever it is, whatever you're into. I'm a pretty lady at the bar. You have a drink of this thing. You give a breath check. You realize where you're at. What's your pickup line to me? How confident are you?
Oh, not confident, but I do hate women, so I would kiss you.
You said you would?
Yeah, I definitely still would.
Okay. I mean, I kiss you back. I'm lonely.
I'm not going home with you. You're gonna.
We don't have to go home.
Jesus, we don't have to go home. All right.
No, we don't.
The bathroom then.
How about out back by the dumpster? You know, we can smell Steven's booze.
You know, Steven said like he wanted his teeth replaced. Whatever. Like I feel that 100%. I don't know. Maybe we have the same. Maybe we have the same bourbon. But yeah, my
The liquid dentist.
All right.
I don't feel as sick as Dan though, so I'm real curious to see what yours is, Dan. You look like you were in pain.
Like my stomach wanted to reject it. Like each and every time, it like compressed. Like get this the fuck. Oh no, it's cool.
You grimaced quite a few times.
Yeah, it didn't look good. Whatever was happening, you know.
Oh, this is horrible.
It looked like a dare, is what it looked like.
That's what this episode is.
Yeah.
And here's I'm not gonna show what it is yet, but the weird thing is that this exact company makes a very good rye. Like they sell a good product. They sell a really good product that is only marginally more expensive than this.
So you don't think they're making this intentionally to be a bad product?
No, they think it's a good product.
Oh, okay.
Because there is their rye, and their rye is also bottom shelf or lower shelf.
They're like for a 750 milliliter bottle, their rye is like $4 or $5 more per bottle than this, and it's a decent pour. This is not.
You know, the other day I bought this without having tasted it before. I just bought it based on like the label, its name and everything. And then I remember Jesse saying like, well, what are you going to do if it's actually good? And I was like, well, I guess I'd have to sell it as being bad. And I tried it yesterday and I was like, well, we don't have to worry about that because this is awful.
I think I want to say that I feel like I have an idea of which one of these is the worst one. But because of our interactions here today, I think the points may not reflect which one is the worst one. The worst one of all seems to be Dan's. Dan seems to have the worst one out of all of them. Just between the grimace and his reluctance to drink it throughout the entire podcast, whereas you guys, like he said, were kind of constantly holding the glass and either smelling it or drinking it. Dan was not actively avoiding it. The smell, I thought Dan has made it sound the worst. You know, an old foot, get out of here. An old hippie foot. It sounded like really painful. I gave the second place to Ryan, Steven third for that one. Taste, we'll kind of go into taste. I gave Ryan the worst tasting one because I fucking hate black licorice, and the mention of black licorice just instantly turned me off even more so. So I think that one for me is the one where I would, like, if you gave me a choice between between Dan's and Steven's, I think I could make that choice. But the black licorice of Ryan's is really just a stumbling block that I don't think I can mentally overcome. Lastly, I thought the only place Dan did well here was the finish. Yeah, it was aggressive, but it was short, and there weren't any really like lasting effects. I think as a drinker, a short memory, much like a quarterback, is your best asset. If you're drinking a lot, you got to get over those losses that you're inevitably going to take. And I think having something with a fast finish, even though it is bad, you can clench, you can tighten up, you can ride through the storm and get through it and then keep drinking. But if something is just like hanging on and it's terrible, like we've all been in a relationship that didn't end well. You know what I mean? If you just hung on for a long time, like that's just so much more miserable than ripping the Band-Aid off. So that's why I think Stevens had the worst finish. Ryan was kind of right there in between the two, as meandering along, but certainly not as getting done as quickly as Dan's. So I think that's probably a blessing because the rest of it seemed like it was pretty bad for Dan. So I think after that, I think the next worst one I would pick would be Steven. The finish sounds terrifying to me. Because I've been there, like I can't drink. There's stuff I just can't drink anymore because like the smell of it just makes me gag because I threw up all over all over myself and ruined hotel rooms and like I've been in that point and that sounds terrifying to me. So as bad as Dan's was, I think Steven's probably isn't too far behind if the finish is going to hang there that great. So that's kind of my finish there. Dan, Steven, Ryan, from worst to best. The scoring, however, the true victor of this podcast, Steven wins with 233 points. Most of it for agreeing to make the drops and send them to me covertly, just because I got some stuff to do. Dan, I have it at 23 points. You started out, you did fine. You did pretty well. It was a fair showing. You had the blunder at the beginning that took you down to -3. You came back and then you fucked it up again. But you made up with it with some solid observations. Ryan, you're at -5.
I'll take it.
Because I gave you the opportunity to sweep me off my feet and take me back to wherever you wanted and do whatever you wanted with me. And you fucking blew it, man. You fucking blew it.
I was grossed out by my whiskey. What do you want me to do?
Well, you don't know how to make people feel comfortable in their own sexuality.
Yeah.
Let's reveal all of them.
Yeah. Steven, why don't you start?
Yeah, I'll start. I guess I'll go first. My bottle was the original Jesse James, America's Outlaw Bourbon.
Monster Garage.
Not
On his
that.
wife.
I thought it was that guy at first, Aaron.
Yeah.
But it's actually the American Outlaw.
Oh, okay.
It turns out. And they call this is 80 proof, and they call it tavern strength. So I'm guessing that's a term that a lot more brands could start using. Apparently 80 proof is tavern strength. What on the sides, on both sides, rather than talk about their whiskey, they just talk about Jesse James and how much they love him, basically. Jesse James, America's Outlaw whiskey bourbon.
Man, that's the exact same text as like what you would see on like a fucking Affliction t-shirt.
Yeah, I know. I thought at first like this was probably the motorcycle guy just because of that, and that's when I picked it up. And then I was like, oh, it's the Outlaw, but who cares?
You should make your own Jesse James whiskey, but just do it for the Monster Garage guy and write your own story. We made this whiskey in the spirit of Jesse James, serial adulterer. You know, just like, yeah, you should do that.
Where'd you buy it, Steve?
I got it at Total Wine in Brentwood, and I got it for $13.
Beautiful.
And I asked an employee what the worst whiskey they had was, and he pointed to a couple, and then as he was explaining like one of them, I saw this one, and he goes, "Nope, get that one."
Oh,
man. He stopped what he was talking about. He was like, "No, you know what? Get that one." He's like, "I've never had it," but he goes, "I can tell you." He actually said, I'll even mention this. He said that probably the worst whiskey outside of our price range, in his opinion, was Breaker, like the wheated in particular, I guess. Or, no, I can't remember if it was wheated or not. But anyway, there was a Breaker that he pointed out, and he said he's actually taken that out of people's carts before.
So, Steven, I have to ask you a question. What would you rate that label, by the way?
The label on this guy, oh my God, this is absolute trash. My label rating on this looks like it's, I know I don't have a great camera. I'll put like a picture of the actual bottle up alongside this on YouTube, but it's so low quality that I think if you just want to put an eagle on there, whatever, the font also terrible. I give this one, I'm going to give it a 1. I'm actually going to give it a 1 out of 10.
Man.
Just because I can't imagine it getting much worse than that. And just
are you taking the legend into consideration, or just strictly the artwork?
The legend for sure. All of it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Those dudes are total libertarians. Whoever runs that thing is just an absolute.
I was thinking maybe even sovereign citizens. You know, like they never explicitly agree to be a part of your society, but while they're in it, they're going to be enjoying some bourbon.
Jesse James Bourbon, brought to you by the Bundy Ranch Distillery.
Bottled outside of Bond.
Mine's kind of a historic one that's really gross.
Old
Crow.
Oh God.
Really bad. I got I got a big bottle because somehow they were sold out of the 750, but they had a $12.99 tag, I think, in the store. Yeah, real bad. I did not like it. I don't think the label's as bad, but I'm gonna have to find one of my drunk friends and just hand that off to him because I'm never gonna touch that again.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Even his head. This is the second time Old Crow has come up on this podcast.
Yeah, Old Crow's come up a couple times. I've had Old Crow, and that was one of the whiskeys that my friend gave me with the bird-themed whiskeys that he keeps giving me. And that was, it was not as good as Fighting Cock was, but it was okay. It was. I don't think personally I wouldn't have picked it out to put on this list, but I am also not gonna, die on that hill either.
All right, we get it. You're trying to say Ryan needs to fucking pull that silver spoon out of his ass. That's what we get it. We're all here. We all hear it. We're all thinking it.
I mean, we don't all have our parents' bar to just dive into every time we want to drink.
Yeah.
It's true.
We're gonna rename the show the Proletariat Bourbon Adventure. And that's what it's gonna be from now on. Sorry, Ryan. I'm actually the new third man. I'm
Yep.
starting drinking again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're out, Ryan.
We didn't want to tell you, but you're out, and this is how you're finding
damn.
out.
we're gonna put this podcast episode out, and it's gonna fucking blow up. People are gonna know. You didn't want to take me home from the bar, so I took your spot on the show.
I'm taking my Fireball bucket and I'm leaving. That's what I'm fucking doing.
The Fireball bucket is what I call my asshole.
I want you to rate the Old Crow label.
The Old
Steven, I
Crow
can put
label.
it-
Yeah,
Here, I'll
show
put it
me
up for you.
that again. The Old Crow label also not great. I appreciate that they do give me a visual of an Old Crow so that I know exactly what they're talking about.
But if that was a young crow, would you have any idea?
I'd like to think so.
If they snuck an underage crow on the front of that bottle, would you go, "Hey, wait a second, that's not an old crow.
It's
I
not
can't
mature
believe you
enough.
fucked this crow.
Yeah, this crow can't vote."
I give it like a 2. It's not a great label, but I mean, when we're comparing it to the original Jesse James, America's Outlaw Bourbon Whiskey.
I like how Old Crow puts a doctor's name on the front of it as somehow
Dr.
to
James
legitimize
Crow.
it. Oh wait, a doctor made this?
It's got to be
Dr.
an
James
honorary.
Crow.
That's how it works. This is like an author on a book, isn't it?
Yeah. He invented the sour mash process in 1835.
Sour mash is when I go for a jog after not showering for 3 days and then cranking afterwards. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Ryan?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
All right, Dan.
All right. So I think the name is actually somewhat fitting. It's called Devil's River. This is San Antonio's finest right here. So as I mentioned before, they have a couple different versions, right? There's the barrel strength that is supposedly better. There's a rye, and the rye is actually pretty decent. But this small batch Texas bourbon whiskey right here, absolute trash. I bought a couple of these little airport bottles or airplane bottles, $1 each. I tried this one. I tried Early Times, which I haven't, like the regular old Early Times, to give that a shot. Tried, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 different $1 bottles. And this one was the one that I just could not choke down, right? Like,
Oh, jeez.
could not fucking do it. And I was like, oh, this one's the winner right here. So, Steven, do you want to rate this one? Because the bottle, the label on the big bottle is the exact same as this.
That one's
I can't
okay.
even tell what.
I think.
What is the rip? I can't even tell what it is. Like, is there? I don't understand the black around it.
Oh, it's like a red
oh, it's-
moon with
oh,
like
okay.
clouds and a black landscape with a river in it.
It's okay. It kind of looks like if like Bob Ross had like a DeviantArt page, I think maybe he would make some sort of landscape like that. It's okay. I mean, it's not. In comparison to the 2 labels that we've already gone over, it's a little bit better than that. So since we have these in a row, I'll give that one a 3. That was probably the best of the bunch with the label.
Yeah.
But this is still like nowhere near some of the other labels we've had.
Oh, my company doesn't sell that.
Well, it looks like you might lose out on another important thing in your life. Podcast 1, your job number 2. And guess what? I've already applied for that. What if this was the moment that I just started to ruin Ryan's life? We meet and I just take over everything. You know, I steal. Like his parents just fucking love me. His friends just think I'm the best.
His parents don't like him, so that's not hard.
See, I've chosen well. So, Miraloma, I'll tell you guys this. I'll make a promise to you right now. If I'm ever out in Miraloma and I get a chance to go to the Jesse James fucking brewery or whatever it is, whatever distillery group, whatever it is, I will 100% go and take a picture and send it back.
I would love that.
And if I can,
Wonderful.
yeah, I'll see if I can figure that out.
There's actually a warning back here that says, according to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy because of the risk of birth defects, but Jesse James would do it, so why don't you, pussy? That's what it
Wait, it
says.
really says that? Oh my god! I was gonna say these guys are going for it. True outlaws.
I don't think they could legally do that.
Yeah. Just calling the government a bunch of pussies. Yeah, no, I don't think that would work out well.
Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show.
Oh,
What
so
was it?
then it was like it's like a cinnamon flavor, like a Fireball.
Oh,
kinda.
it was a whiskey.
I don't fucking know. Let me look up the history of Aftershock for you, there, Judge.
I've never once seen that.
No, I think
Yeah.
it's probably.
I'm gonna take 3 points off of Dan right there.
God damn it.
Being a condescending prick.
Oh, and the next day I was supposed to fly from Arizona back home, and my flight was like at, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning, something like that. My roommate comes into the room at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting at the entrance to my my barracks room, dorm, if you want to call it, and I just had thrown up all
yeah.
over myself. It was just all over me.
Hell yeah.
He like throws me in the shower and like showers me off.
Okay.
doesn't-
You know what, Dan? 3 points added back for the homoeroticism.
So then, if homoeroticism gets points, dude, I'm gonna nail this. Get it? There you go.
All right, Aaron.
There they go.
Back to the three.
Yeah, that's back to -3.
They're gone again.
Yeah.